as you may know, another European Union country, Cyprus, is bankrupt. And to keep that nation from completely falling apart, the European Union has okayed a seizure of private money that's deposited in a bank on the Mediterranean island. Outside of communist takeovers, that's almost unprecedented. But a member of the European Parliament says more private money could be seized in the future.
Now they've done it in one country. They're quite capable of doing it in Italy, Spain, Portugal, or anywhere else. And the message that sends to people who've got savings in banks in those countries, certainly if I was them, is get your money out while you can.
Certainly a dire warning for everybody, even Americans, as the global economy begins to totter. There is no question that the rise of the nanny state, where politicians buy votes by promising to support people, has damaged capitalism all over the world. We're seeing it right here in the USA. No longer are we a self-reliant nation. Now about half of American households, receive some kind of government assistance. Some of that has been earned, but much of it, simply a handout. The Democratic Party has established a firm hold on the entitlement culture. People getting free stuff from the government are voting Democratic because the Republican Party wants to cut back the nanny state. So we're engaged in an economic civil war, which the Democrats are now winning. Most European countries are insignificant in the global economy, but America is the big dog, and we are now $17 trillion in debt. Every day of the year, the USA adds $3.2 billion in more debt every day. That is a frightening scenario. President Obama doesn't seem to care. He says the debt is, quote, sustainable. But it is not. We are being misled. If America collapses economically, there will be violence in this country and all over the world. That violence could lead to anarchy, and once order breaks down, anything could happen. If you watch The Factor even occasionally, you know that I'm not the kind of person who would hype a situation like this. But what is happening in Cyprus and Europe is a contagion. The simple truth is the world cannot support massive socialism. The Soviet Union collapsed under that weight, and the rest of the so-called socialist nations are a chaotic mess. President Obama and liberal America need to wise up fast, and the rest of us who do see the danger should begin to speak with some urgency. The U.S. debt is a crisis. It is not sustainable, and these pinheads in Washington better do something about it. Now for the top story tonight reaction. Joining us in Washington, Fox News analyst Charles Krauthammer. So am I overreacting, Charles?
Look, I agree with you that the nanny state is unsustainable, and in the end it collapses.
Here's a couple of things. Cyprus itself owes billions of dollars, and if it were a solvent country, it could prop the banks up, because when banks go under in the USA, as you know, the government can come in and take them over. They can't do it in Cyprus. They don't have any money, because, as you said, it's a nanny state. But the bigger picture is this. We are seeing the future in Europe now. We are seeing it, all right? Yet our president, and I'm not a guy that has been hammering Obama on every little thing, but this is a big thing. He sees it too. This is what troubles me about Barack Obama. He sees it. So do his guys. They know what's happening in Europe. They know what's happening in Greece, in Spain, in Italy, in Cyprus. They know. Yet they are encouraging the same scenario in the United States, Charles. That, to me, is inexplicable. It's why Barack Obama will not sit down with me for an interview. He doesn't see $17 trillion debt as a problem. He doesn't see it, but it is a problem. And everyone knows it's a problem. So what is that? Dishonesty? Delusion? What is it?
Well, last time you asked me that, I responded it is Louis XV. But I will not bring up any more Louis. I think you have to make a distinction between governments and banks. Our banks are in fairly good shape. Our problem is, and it's a longer-term problem, that the government is headed towards insolvency. Now, it's not going to get there tomorrow. And even the Europeans, who are way advanced in terms of indebtedness and insolvency, are not going to get there tomorrow. And we have several years between now and then. If we would start to make entitlement reforms, if we would start to make tax reform, if we would start to just to begin to rein in the government, and you then begin to bend the curve, we can quite easily achieve solvency.
Yeah, but we're not doing that. Instead, we're printing more money that's devaluing our currency, all right? And that is going to lead to Armageddon. When this man leaves office, Barack Obama, we will have a national debt approaching $20 trillion. We will have a badly damaged dollar because of all the money they're printing now. You know it and I know it, all right? And anything can happen in this world. You start dominoing down countries going under, like Cyprus, and stealing deposits, you're going to have a mass panic worldwide.
But, Bill, if all of that is true, and I agree with you on the general principle, but not on the timetable, do you think everybody on Wall Street is out of his mind as it rises up to record highs?
I think they're deluding themselves into thinking
that
some way, somehow, the United States is going to get away from the nanny state. But we're not going to get away from the nanny state because the people now want it here. Yeah, they want it. They're feeling it. I can get free stuff now. I'll give you the last word.
So your theory is that we've reached a point where we will never have a Republican administration. We will always have.
Do you see any outcry to balance this budget? Do you see any anti-Obama outcry at all? No.
I see a GOP that for 3 years in a row has passed a budget which would return us to 1% of GDP of debt within 4 years.
But they can't get it done.
Well, all you got to do is change administrations.
Well,
unless you believe we're going to have Democrats until the end of time, your theory is wrong.
I'm worried about these people, the voters now, because the mentality is changing in this country. It's changing, and that worries me. Charles, very interesting as always. We appreciate it. Happy Passover.